A letter to acting. Dear acting, when I was a kid, I already loved watching good movies. Whatever happened around me stopped being important while I was sucked into the story. One day I realized that there are special people who were able to take everybody on the greatest journeys while sitting in front of a TV or a cinema screen. These magical people were called actors. I started to watch them differently. I enjoyed movies as I always had done, but I also admired the people who were able to make them, and I started watching interviews with those people. After a while, I realized that acting was not only a magical gift, a talent that some lucky people have, but also something you can actually learn and improve, and I passionately wanted to learn that. Do you remember our first date? It was at a casting for the youth group of the local theatre. I was a nervous wreck. After the casting, I was sure I would never hear from a theatre again, and I would be damned to admire you from the audience for the rest of my life. But I got the part. And I became a member of the group, and I fell in love with you madly. That was 20 years ago. When I became an acting student years later, I felt like proposing to you. And as I am a professional and regularly working actress now, I guess you said yes. We've been so close ever since I started doing theatre when I was 15. We never took a real break. Of course, now and then there were a few weeks without a show or rehearsals, or at least shooting a short movie. But I always knew when I would be with you again. Now, I know nothing. There are things I look forward to, like going on tour again, shooting a short movie with a director I love working with, directing a solo comedy show again, and a new cooperation with an interesting and funny writer. But I have no idea when all of this will happen, and if all of it will still be possible then. Will all those people still want to do these projects? Will there be enough money to finance these projects? And will the audience still be able to afford tickets after this time in which so many people lose their jobs or businesses or simply don't earn as much money as they usually do? I think people will still want to see movies and plays and good comedians. Maybe even more than before the lockdown, because now they miss all that. But when will we be allowed to do shows again? How many people will be allowed to be in a room then? And what about the price of a ticket? If it's only safe to have a very small audience in a big room, so that everybody has enough space to not be too near to anybody else, will the ticket prices rise? And if so, will people still come? I miss you so much, my dear acting. And I want to be with you again as soon as possible. But I also don't want to put anybody in danger. And I want that everybody who wants to see one of our shows will be able to. You see, I think of you a lot. Not every one of my thoughts is pleasant, but most of them are still great. Because I look forward to being with you again so much. I love you dearly. Yours, Daniela.